Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has prorogued Parliament while the Liberal Party searches for someone to replace him. The impact in BC is uncertainty around federal funding for housing and border security and concerns about bills that have died on the order paper.
Everything that did not receive royal assent until now dies, and it has to be essentially reintroduced as though these bills never existed.
Most concerning for BC's Attorney General is the Online Harms Bill. It aims to hold social media platforms accountable for content that appears on their site.
That one dying and not becoming law in Canada is really steps us backwards.
Under Bill C-63, platforms would have to remove content that sexualizes children or victims of sexual violence within 24 hours of a complaint being filed. If they don't, they could be fined $10 million. Carol Todd has been a staunch advocate for better protections for youth online. In 2012, her daughter Amanda took her own life after she was sexually extorted.
The young people in Canada deserve those types of protections. And when you are a mother like Carol Todd, who's been advocating for decades for better protections online, to see it go down like this, I'm sure is devastating for her.
Let's say there's an election after March 24th. I highly doubt that bill comes back in its current form.
Premier David Eby, meanwhile, is worried that promised federal cash has evaporated.
I'll be blunt and frank in saying that we saw a lot of announcements of funding that weren't delivered to British Columbia, whether or not the federal government was sitting. So we're prepared for that.
That includes $2 billion promised by Trudeau to top up the BC Builds program, which is meant to fund more housing, and $1.3 billion announced in December to strengthen border security nationwide in response to Donald Trump's tariff threat. Ottawa is also footing the bill for most of BC's affordable childcare program. One childcare advocate says she's confident that federal program will not be on the chopping block.
So it becomes almost incomprehensible that any new leader would want to double or triple or quadruple childcare fees for families.
Still, opposition parties have vowed to try and bring down the governing Liberals and trigger an election as soon as Parliament resumes. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.